There are times in life when a person feels completely lost. It is as if everything that once brought meaning has disappeared, and the heart feels empty. This emptiness can come from many places. It can come from the pressures of the world, from the expectations of society, or from the mistakes and misjudgments of our own lives. She had reached a point where nothing seemed to matter. Every day felt the same, and every effort seemed futile. The world around her appeared vibrant and alive, yet inside she felt hollow, disconnected, and without purpose. She questioned herself, her choices, her direction, and even the meaning of her own existence. This feeling of being lost is not uncommon, but what makes it deeply human is the longing to find something beyond the material, something that gives the heart peace and clarity. In those moments of confusion and despair, it is easy to turn to temporary fixes, things that distract but do not heal. She tried many paths, some of which gave brief relief, but none provided the enduring comfort she sought. The heart desires fulfillment, and when it does not find it, it becomes restless. This restlessness is a sign, a gentle reminder, that the soul is yearning for its true purpose. It is in this emptiness that the journey toward Allah begins. For Allah is the source of guidance, the light that illuminates the darkness, and the one who fills the void within the heart. She began to reflect upon her life quietly in moments of stillness. She realized that the constant chase of worldly desires had left her spirit weary. The pursuits of fame, approval, and material comfort, while seemingly important, did not address the deepest needs of her soul. In this reflection, she found the courage to turn inward, to seek the presence of Allah, and to ask for guidance. The journey toward Allah begins with a single intention, a sincere turning of the heart. When one truly seeks, the path unfolds, even when it seems invisible at first. She started with small steps. She began to make time for prayer, moments of remembrance and contemplation of the Creator. Each act, though simple, became a building block of her renewal. The heart, when it seeks Allah sincerely, begins to feel peace even in small doses. The mind, once restless, finds clarity in the routine of reflection and remembrance. She realized that life is not only about what one achieves outwardly, but also about what one cultivates inwardly. The soul requires nourishment, and that nourishment comes from the remembrance of Allah, sincere worship, and aligning one's actions with divine guidance. Gradually, she began to feel a connection she had never felt before. It was a connection not tied to success, recognition, or validation from others, but a direct link between her heart and the Creator. In that connection, she found solace, hope, and direction. Allah's mercy became evident in every aspect of her life. She recognized that every trial, every difficulty she had faced was part of a process that led her closer to understanding herself and her purpose. This realization brought humility, gratitude, and a renewed sense of meaning. In this process, she discovered that seeking Allah is not only about formal worship, but also about the transformation of the heart. The heart becomes softer, more aware, and more conscious of the impact of actions on oneself and others. She learned patience and perseverance, realizing that the journey is gradual and requires consistency. Each prayer, each moment of reflection, each act of kindness became a step toward healing the emptiness she once felt. She understood that Allah's guidance is gentle and nurturing, guiding the lost heart with compassion and wisdom. As she continued on this path, she found strength in surrender. She understood that trying to control everything had caused much of her distress. Letting go and placing trust in Allah brought relief beyond what she had imagined. It was a relief that comes from knowing that the one who created her knows her needs, her struggles, and her desires. Trusting Allah does not mean life becomes free from challenges, but it means that the heart is anchored, the mind is calm, and the soul is secure. Through this journey, she also realized the importance of gratitude for the blessings she had overlooked, for the opportunities to change, and for the guidance that had been there all along. She learned that recognizing Allah's presence in small moments creates contentment and peace. Even in moments of hardship, gratitude allowed her to see the subtle signs of mercy, encouraging her to continue seeking and growing. The heart, once empty, now found light in remembrance, reflection, and the conscious choice to align with divine will. The transformation she experienced was not sudden, it was gradual, gentle, and steady. Each day she grew more aware of her connection to Allah and more committed to living a life of sincerity, compassion, and mindfulness. The feeling of being lost slowly gave way to a sense of purpose. Her inner world, once chaotic and restless, became a place of calm, hope, and clarity. She discovered that losing oneself is not the end. It can be the beginning of the most meaningful journey, a journey that brings one closer to Allah, the source of all guidance, love, and fulfillment. As she continued on this path, she realized that the connection with Allah was transforming not only her heart, but her actions. She began to see the world differently. What once seemed insignificant now held meaning. She noticed the beauty in everyday life, the sun rising, the gentle breeze, the laughter of loved ones, and she understood that these were signs of Allah's mercy and presence. Each moment became an opportunity to remember, to be grateful, and to grow closer to her Creator. The chaos that had once filled her mind began to fade, replaced by a calm awareness that her life had purpose and direction. Her interactions with others changed as well. She became more compassionate, patient, and understanding. The emptiness that had made her distant and restless was replaced by empathy and care. She learned that when one finds Allah, one also finds the ability to positively impact others. Her words became thoughtful, her actions considerate, and her presence comforting to those around her. She understood that faith is not only about personal peace, but also about spreading goodness and mercy in the world. She faced challenges, of course, but they no longer shook her as they once had. Trials that had previously caused despair now became opportunities for growth. She learned to see difficulties as reminders of Allah's wisdom, as ways to strengthen patience, and as chances to deepen reliance on Him. The world still presented hardships, but her perspective had shifted. She had discovered that true strength does not lie in avoiding difficulties, but in facing them with trust in Allah. Each prayer, each reflection, and each conscious act of devotion fortified her spirit, creating a resilience that was grounded in faith rather than circumstance. Her nights became moments of reflection, and her days opportunities to act with intention. She developed habits of remembering Allah, not out of obligation, but out of love and recognition of His guidance. She found peace in the rhythm of worship, in the quiet moments of supplication, and in the sincerity of her intentions. Every action, no matter how small, became a part of her journey toward inner fulfillment. She realized that finding Allah was not about perfection, but about sincerity, effort, and turning the heart toward the source of all mercy. As her relationship with Allah deepened, she understood that the feeling of being lost was in fact a gift. It had brought her to a point of seeking, of reflection, and of sincerity. She learned that sometimes one must reach the lowest point before discovering the highest source of guidance. Losing herself had been the beginning of finding the truest part of her identity, the part that belongs to Allah. She recognized that her past mistakes, regrets, and confusion were not signs of failure but stepping stones on a journey towards spiritual awakening. She began to embrace a life of purpose and intention. Every decision, every action, and every thought became informed by a desire to please Allah and align with His guidance. The emptiness she once felt was replaced by a profound sense of direction. She realized that life's true fulfillment comes not from worldly achievements or approval, but from aligning oneself with the path that Allah has prepared. She understood that the journey toward Allah is ongoing, and it requires patience, persistence, and sincerity. Each day became an opportunity to grow, to improve, and to deepen her connection with her Creator. In time, she became a source of inspiration for others. Her transformation was visible not only in her demeanor but in her interactions. People noticed a new calmness, a new clarity, and a new kindness in her presence. She shared her experiences gently, encouraging others to reflect, seek guidance, and connect with Allah in their own way. She realized that her journey was not just about her own heart, but also about contributing to the guidance and support of others. Faith, she understood, spreads through example, compassion, and sincerity. Ultimately, she discovered that finding Allah is not an event but a journey. It is a journey of continuous reflection, growth, and devotion. It is a journey that begins with a sincere intention and is nurtured by daily effort, remembrance, and reliance on Him. She learned that the heart's deepest fulfillment comes from the recognition of Allah's presence, mercy, and guidance. In finding Allah, she found herself. She discovered a peace that surpasses understanding, a clarity that illuminates the soul, and a purpose that sustains every action. Her story reminds us that no matter how lost we may feel, the path to Allah is always open. No matter how far we may have strayed, turning to Him with sincerity brings light, guidance, and hope. The journey may be gradual, it may require patience, and it may include trials, but the outcome is transformative. Losing oneself is not the end. It is often the beginning of the most meaningful chapter of life. The heart, when directed toward Allah, finds strength, peace, and fulfillment beyond what the world can offer. And so, she emerged from the darkness of being lost into the light of divine connection. She realized that every moment of struggle, every feeling of emptiness, and every question she had asked herself led her to this point. She understood that Allah had always been with her, guiding, supporting, and waiting for her to turn fully toward Him. The journey taught her patience, humility, gratitude, and love. It taught her that life's true meaning lies in seeking the pleasure of Allah, trusting His wisdom, and allowing the heart to be transformed by His guidance. Her journey is a testament to the mercy and wisdom of Allah. It is a reminder that no one is ever truly lost when they seek Him sincerely. It is a reminder that turning to Allah brings clarity, purpose, and peace. She lost herself in the chaos of life, but in seeking Allah she found the truest version of herself, a heart anchored in faith, a soul filled with peace, and a life aligned with divine guidance. And that is the ultimate lesson, that no matter where one begins, the path to Allah is always the path to fulfillment, healing, and true self-discovery.